Welcome back to Tech, Tesla, and Friends. $4.4 trillion. I've seen a lot of articles today that are mocking that particular number. How many of us have ever had a stretch goal? That's exactly what this number is for Tesla, for Elon, and for us as stockholders. What a wonderful stretch goal it is. But the more important and amazing little detail in all of this is that it's without Optimus. That part blows my mind. Really does. Truly, Optimus is one of the greatest products on Tesla's roadmap in the next decade. So for Elon to state there's a path forward to $4.4 trillion. That's an amazing number right there. That he can see and see how the Tesla can actually do it with exceptional execution. And let's face it, Tesla's been executing exceptionally. In spite of all of the economic downturns and pandemic issues and chip shortages, you name it, whatever the issue is, Tesla will engineer a way over, around, or through that particular issue. They execute with precision. It's designed, it's clear, and it's purposeful. One of the things that I've pondered this over the last 24 hours, thinking about what are the products that would nail it. Largely, they were mentioned by Elon. You have Cybertruck, you have Semi, you have FSD, and 3 and Y, as well as S and X. But those are, but the reality of all of that packaged together, when you start to look at it, it is truly, as you add those numbers together, truly a possibility. Now, many people are going to say, well, there's no way, nope, it just can't be done. Well, it can. In 2015, when Elon said that Tesla would be, or could be, as big as Apple, everybody laughed at him. Because how could that be? No car company has ever been that big. I heard that statement. The reality, less than 5 years instead of 10. So when we hear $4.4 trillion as Tesla executing well, keep in mind, there are products on Tesla's roadmap none of us have a clue about today that will be released, and they will add to that bottom line as well. But one that is being overlooked and underplayed is energy. The battery side of this business is just one small, tiny portion as far as most people look at it. 10% of the profits roughly, but it had a 62% growth. Let's think about that just in that little section. Some of the largest companies in the world are energy storage companies or transportation of energy companies. Battery storage is an essential gap that is necessary for the green revolution that many people are touting. Without that battery storage, this whole green agenda fails. You need battery storage to offset the cyclical nature of wind and solar. Without a battery, when the sun goes down, solar's dead. Without a battery, when the wind stops blowing, no matter how many of those windmills offshore that are capable of as I just read an article of one that was capable of 369 megawatts in one day. It's pretty impressive. It's amazing. Wonderful. Well, if the wind stops blowing, how is that supposed to be stored? And better yet, are you able to take all 369 megawatts of that instantaneously all the time? I believe the answer to that is probably no. And without a battery, they're screwed. So this is a big, critical, it's the elephant in the room. And it is one of the reasons why Elon bought Solar City way back when. To pull in that whole solar rooftop, that's kind of like the gravy on top, the chocolate syrup on top of the ice cream. But at the core is Powerwall. At the core is MegaPack. And as those are spread out across the entire nation and across the world, it becomes a real solution to energy dependency. When every house has a battery that is sufficient for its needs, there is less concern about the grid. You have California with rolling brownouts throughout the year, or blackouts, or other issues like that. As Powerwall expands across the world, energy companies are going to be able to sustainably protect the grid. This is critical to the growth not only of Tesla, but of the world and for the protection of the people that live in it. Because let's face it, we like the lights. We love to have the power and energy that fuels the internet, fuels every other activity that we have, our games, our surfing, everything else. We love power, but without those batteries, this whole sustainability movement has a major hole in it. The batteries are the foundational support for this particular revolution. So keep in mind that as the need is recognized, and more people do recognize that it's far more important to have a battery backup in their home than to have solar on their rooftop. And that will drive the need or the value and the demand for Tesla's Powerwall throughout the world. You're already seeing that Tesla has announced that you can buy just Powerwall again, rather than having to pair that with their solar roof. Powerwall will be a large chunk of that 4.1 or 4.4 trillion. It will also be largely megapacks as well. And a little bit of energy arbitrage, and you throw in the growth of Cybertruck and of the Semi and S, X, and 3 and Y, as well as that little thing called, Robotaxi? Anybody hear of that? Of course you have. And the reality for us as Tesla's shareholders is that Platform 3 is one of the largest positive forces in the overall growth of Tesla as a company. Platform 3, with its halving of the costs and size and of the footprint in the factories, is a massive boon to Tesla as a company. But it is also a serious upward force that people are underestimating because they don't see it. That is one of the reasons people underestimate Tesla and Elon, because when you're talking about the future, you're discussing the ability to execute. Well, when somebody talks about the ability to execute, you should check their track record. And as we take a look back, 2015 is a good reminder that 2020 occurred. And Tesla was larger than Apple's market cap at that time. And I guarantee you, and it'll be less than 10 years. I can promise that. Based on what I see in this company, it'll be less than 10 years, probably closer to 5, when Tesla crosses that 4.4 trillion line. I could be wrong, but I'll check back. And we'll have a report in 5 years, see how close I got. From that point, just know that when you're investing, pay attention to the long term. These short-term bumps and slumps, if you are foundationally correct, then you are in a position of power. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the short term is. The reality for the long-term profitability and success of Tesla is all but guaranteed, barring a third world war. Let's pray that the Russians still love their children too. All right, folks. We'll be back tomorrow for another installment of Tech, Tesla, and Trends. I think tomorrow we're going to be discussing another bit of tech. It's not quite Tesla, but it'll be the aluminum graphene battery. And I'll give you a spin on that actually does have a Tesla angle, and where we're going to go with that, and the trends that will draw into our world. It's pretty impressive. If you're not familiar with it, I urge you to tune in tomorrow. We'll catch you later.